When facing things like the murders of GB and Incognito, there is the government would like to see a link between what people say and what people do. But there is often not such a big link. People often say things that they don't mean. They use creative language, and that can have it can have a bad effect on encouraging others. But I think Jim Stokely's idea that drill rappers should be treated like terrorists is an overreaction. And a person called User has left an interesting comment. I disagree with a few things. Shakespeare was a man whose thoughts he instilled into a villain were the thoughts of a man. Trump, Biden, and Farage have spoken words that should have been kept to themselves, because when those words enter the minds of people who think those words are laws or a weapon of some kind, then that is what you get. Yes, it's not the person who's uttering the words, it's the way they are heard, which is the problem. And to look more comprehensively, Shakespeare's villains use inflammatory language. I am not what I am, says Othello. Or I think Iago says it in the sort of racist, manipulative language that reflects the darker side of human nature. So I am not what I am is a self-awareness of his evil, of his duplicitous nature, setting the stage for his deceit and his manipulation. I'm not so sure, actually, that Donald Trump and Farage and the others are as self-aware as Shakespeare makes Iago. Donald Trump says when Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. And some, I assume, are good people. Well, thank God for that. So many people in the rap community are using their lyrics to work through their personal problems. If they've got personal problems, so have their listeners. Macklemore, for example, on other sides, talking about his addiction to drugs. I just wanted to act like him. I just wanted to be like him. And Little Wayne doing lean, drinking cough mixture, codeine. I don't think you take drugs in order to be creative. But from that point of view, I disagree with the idea that Coleridge was somehow empowered by opium. I think but I think nevertheless you don't rule out people's experiences. And white privilege talks about things being awkward. Hip hop has always been political. Is it an authentic or a gimmick? You use the words you've been given. You use the personal experience you've been given to help others. And while speeches like Trump's are protected under the First Amendment, they also increase social division and, in extreme cases, incite violence. Though proving legal culpability is challenging because of the First Amendment. And then you things like in drill music, I'll splash down, then I go my mum's, and then I go more jug. The Harlem Spartans. In the UK, the authorities have used legislation like the Serious Crime Act in 2015 to prosecute artists whose lyrics are believed to incite violence or crime. Courts have sometimes cited specific lyrics as evidence of intent or involvement in criminal activities. But surely that same incitement, those same lyrics, those same words, could be heard in Parliament, for example. Suella Braverman, the then Home Secretary, made several controversial remarks regarding immigration and law enforcement. The British people deserve to know which party is serious about stopping the invasion on our southern coast and which party is not. There were no legal consequences for her, though it sparked public debate and criticism. And maybe, though I find her remarks appalling, and I find her divisive activities appalling, maybe she has done some good by voicing these issues and at least sparking that debate. Has she incited racial tension and xenophobia? Has she promoted the tolerance of racial tension and xenophobia? That is another matter. When you compare Shakespeare's words with those of second-rate politicians or first-rate lyricists, Shakespeare's writing literary pieces that explore human nature and society's issues through fiction. Drill lyrics, while a form of artistic expression, are often direct and explicit references, observations of real-life violence. So from that point of view, they're doing the same sort of thing. Shakespeare's works have academic and cultural protection now. Drill lyrics can lead to legal scrutiny and criminal charges now. But maybe later on they will be seen in context. Political statements, while often protected as free speech or given parliamentary immunity, have real-world consequences now, influencing public opinion, potentially inciting unrest, but also provoking debate. Politicians rarely face the legal consequences for what they have said, unless what they have said directly incites violence or breaks specific laws relating to hate speech. And I can't think of any examples of when that has actually been, when that has actually happened. But there is a complex. I mean, if you've got examples, please list them below. But there's a complex interplay between free speech, artistic expression, and the legal boundaries of words and how they are understood. It's how they are understood, I think, rather than what the intent of the speaker is. And this, I think, is particularly important when it comes to racism. It's not about what you intended. It's about how you are understood. And from that point of view, I think we need to seriously reconsider the legal wording surrounding hate crime, because a lot of that is about the intention of the speaker rather than the way the speaker is understood, or the writer.